All right, so welcome to part 3 of assignment 3. In this part of the assignment, we're going to create a user form that's a little bit different. In this form, rather than an OK or a submit button, we're going to execute code every time the user makes an entry. We're going to do kind of a simplified menu. I'm going to call it box lunch, where they have sort of a limited number of offerings. So we're just going to have 4 menu items: roast beef, turkey, water, and soft drink. I don't know how I come up with those 4. Um, we'll have the prices listed on the worksheet rather than in the form. So we want to practice reading something in to the worksheet. Um, the user will enter a quantity in a text box, and every time the quantity is changed, we'll compute a total price. And to make it simple, we'll just have kind of a fixed range on the spreadsheet with each of the prices for the 4 items. So let's go ahead and get started. In this one, let's go to the spreadsheet first of all, and I'll add a new worksheet. I'm going to call it boxed lunch. And I'm just going to add my 4 items: roast beef, turkey, water, and soft drink. And I'll list some prices for those: $6.95, $5.95, 50 cents for water, and $1.50 for a soft drink. I'll change those to currency format, and we'll be on our way. Okay, so let's go into the code. We're going to insert a new user form. Um, for user form 3, we'll pick a background color again. Pick a light blue this time. And I'm going to start with my labels. Oh, I don't need code for the label. So for the caption for label, I'm going to just type make your selection by entering a quantity for each item. And we're going to have our 4 items down the right side, so I'm going to enter roast beef, turkey, water, and soft drink. And I'll have also have labels at the top for quantity. And price. And then we'll have a label for total price. And now we need to add our text boxes in. So I'm going to call that first text box box RBQ, RB quantity. I'll call the second one TQ, turkey quantity. I'll call the third one WQ, water quantity. I don't know how I got into the password here. I just have to delete that one. So trying again here. Password. Oh, I'm down at the bottom here. I'm going to call that WQ, water quantity. And I'll paste again down here for SDQ, soft drink quantity. Move the total price label down a little bit. And I'll select these 4 text boxes, copy and paste them, align them underneath the price. Having trouble with my mouse here. Having all sorts of trouble. And those aren't even lined up. Okay, getting frustrated. So it's getting a little late, so I'm going to go ahead and try to go ahead and finish this. So I'm going to rename each of the text boxes RBP for roast beef price, TP for turkey price, WP for water price, and SDP for soft drink price. And lastly, I need to add a text box for the total price, and I'll just use a whole word there. I'll call it total price. Lastly, I'm not going to have a command button for submit, because I'm going to, each time they change a quantity, I'm going to submit. But I do need a cancel button. The user needs to be able to get out of the session if they want to. So I'm going to type cancel here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just do the code for the cancel button. So I'm going to do unload user form 3. Okay, so now I'm ready to enter my code for each of the other items. So every time the quantity changes, I want to do a number of things. I want to test to make sure they've entered something numeric and greater than 0. So if they do that, I'm going to compute a new total. And I'm going to populate the price. I'm going to actually run the exact same code anytime one of these quantities change. And I'm going to, in order to not be totally redundant and have the code replicated 4 times, I'm only going to do it once, and I'm going to create a subroutine. So I'm going to do a line called call compute total, and I'm going to create a sub called compute total that's going to do everything that I want it to do for all of the fields. So first of all, I'm going to test if val rq is equal to 0, then rq is equal to 0. What that accomplishes is I'm testing the value of what the user entered. So if they enter a word or a negative number or something bizarre, the system isn't going to crash. It's just going to put a 0 in there. So I'm going to repeat that for each of our 4 quantity entries. And I'm going to change let me make sure I got the field names right. It's RBQ, TQ, WQ, and SDQ. So let me go back to my code, and if RBQ is equal to 0, the value of RBQ, then I'm going to set it equal to 0. Next one, I'm going to do turkey quantity. W and SD. And again, this is just simply to keep the program from crashing if the user enters something inappropriate. Okay, so now I want to set the prices. And I need to do a simple command here. Over in the internet, I've looked up worksheets sheet1.activate. So I'm going to copy that in. The reason I'm doing that is I want to make sure that they open the right worksheet to read the prices in. So I'm going to copy that statement in, and I'm going to change sheet 1 to boxed lunch. And then I'm going to read in my prices from the worksheet. So RBP is equal to range B1. I'll copy and paste that. For the second one, the turkey price is in B2. The water price is in B3. And the soft drink price is in B4. So now every time, so we've got our prices and we've got valid quantities. Now we want to populate the total. So I'm going to type total price is equal to RBQ times RBP plus TQ times TP plus WQ times WP plus SDQ times SDP. So we're just multiplying the quantity times the price and adding them up. So now all I need to do, so if they change the roast beef quantity, it's going to run this sub. It's going to make sure the values are valid, set them to 0 if they're not. It's going to read the prices in, and it's going to compute a total price. Now we need to add this same sub every time one of the other values change. I could copy and paste this, and maybe I should do that. Copy and paste. paste, and paste, and just change the RB to a T, to a W, and to a, what's our last one? Soft drink, SD. All right, so let's test our user form. So I'm going to start by entering like a Z. It worked because it changed it to 0 and it computed a total. I need to look at my spacing here. If I enter one roast beef, the total is $6.95 to $13.90. And every time I'm adding a total here, it's incrementing. I click cancel and it brings me back. So I need to do something here. I'm not sure what is wrong with the styles here. I want to use these styles instead of these. So they're kind of overlapping each other is the problem. I would copy and paste again, but I've already defined the captions and the names, or the field names associated with each. Even though it looks terrible, I think I'm just going to deal with an ugly looking form because it's getting late. I'm going to save my file and I'm going to run it again. So if I enter 1, it populates all the prices. I can cancel out. I could go back to the worksheet here and change the price of water to $1. Change the turkey to $6.25 and go back to my sub and rerun again. And reflects the new pricing. So lastly, the last thing I'm going to do is add a button to run this. So I'm going to go to Developer, and then Insert and ActiveX. Double click to User Form 3.show. Right click, go to Properties and change the caption to Boxed Lunch Menu. Get out of design mode, run it, test it again. I'm entering like letters and stuff, and I can't because it just changes them to 0. I'd like to improve the aesthetics of this, line up the prices like I did over here, but I messed up, so I can't. Running out of time. I'd like to also change the values of this to like a currency format, but for now I think we've done enough for tonight, so I'm going to cancel out of here and I'm going to save my file and stop the recording. So thank you everybody. Hope Xavier wins tomorrow night, and hope you enjoyed our online session. Be sure to upload your results to Canvas.